What's up you guys, welcome to my video on how to ombre your hair. So I used to ombre my own hair. I think about for the last year I just had regular brown hair and I was starting to get bored of it and I decided to dye it again, but I thought I'd go to the hairdresser and get it dyed because I didn't really feel like risking doing it wrong myself. So I called out some of the hairdressers and pretty much all of them, like none of them could quote me anything cheaper than $200. And as a university student, of course, $200 on my hair is way out of the question. So I decided to try out one of the products from the supermarket, or the chemist. I got mine from the chemist. Which was the Loreal Wild Ombre colour. I went to the supermarket and they only had the one for blondes, and then I went to the chemist and they had the ones for blondes and the ones for dark blondes to medium brown hair. I kind of wanted the one for darker hair, but I couldn't find it, and I really hate it when people like chemists and stuff only stock certain colours and they don't have your colour. It really annoys me. But as you can see, my hair, it's not like the base colour. This is my natural colour, this base colour, and I guess you could call it medium brown. Just to be safe, I wanted the darker one though, but it still works on my hair. But basically it's just like any hair dye. If you dye your hair before, three things, you put them in the big thing, shake it up, put in your hair. You don't need to know how to do that. I guess the thing that made it different from any other highlighting kit is the brush, and that is this thing. So it's got skinny little flexible bristles on the edges, and then on the inside it's got less flexible, thicker, and they're shorter and then taller. So basically it is a super random brush with just random bristles, sizes and shapes, and flexibility, and this is what creates a kind of faded random look that I have, and I think that's really cool, and I think it worked well. Now I guess the review part of this, did it work? Yes. Am I happy? Yes, but I wouldn't say I'm 100% happy. Now I was a bit concerned halfway through that it wasn't actually dyeing. I couldn't see it, and I guess because it was wet, but actually it did dye. So just be wary of that. If you think it hasn't dyed, it actually probably has dyed. You just can't tell because it's wet, so it's the same colour as the rest of your hair when it's wet. But if all your hair was wet, it'd be darker and then lighter, you know. Blah, 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 blah. One thing that affected me that will affect everyone, possibly, is that the first thing I did, do you see that? That horrible colour change? It goes like brown and then it does like this white, and it looks really like chunky and disgusting. Like compared to this side, how it kind of fades in, see? And this side has this awful chunk of blonde, and it's just this awful like stripe. I don't know how that happened. I think that might be because that's one of the first pieces I did, and maybe because I did that, how I was saying before with the brush, how you just put it straight on rather than going halfway down and then work your way up. I'm not so happy with that part of my hair, but you know, lucky for me, I do the underside first, and when it's just normally sitting on my head you can't see it, so I got lucky. So it's just like it was a bit of a fail, but it's a hidden fail, so that's fine. Do I recommend this hair dye? Yes. Do I think you may need someone else to put it on for you? If it's your first time, yeah. If you've done it before, you don't need to, but if you are going to do it with someone, I'll show you right now how to do it the best way so that nothing bad happens. Like, so basically, to dye your hair ombre style, take the lower third of your hair, so just above your ears, and draw a line with your fingers right back until they meet at the back of your head, and then with the top 2/3 of your hair, put it up. Then take two sections of your hair so they're even on both sides. Brush it. See, that's what I was telling you about, that ugly chunk. That's okay, I'm going to show you guys how to avoid doing my mistake. Okay, make sure it's brushed because you remember you're putting this brush through your hair and you don't want to be brushing down and then have it stick and then just be like, you know what I mean? Okay, so with this hair, take this is a pretty small section of hair, so I could say you could halve that and use a section about that big. Using small sections is good, like rather than using this whole thing, because it makes it more randomized, and that's what you want. You don't just want a line like this, you want random like the top of my head was. Okay, so you need to take your tin foil, just regular kitchen tin foil, and cut a strip as long as your hair and as it doesn't have to be, it can be as thin as anything, because you just have to wrap around your hair, and maybe about that thin would be fine. You don't have to use tin foil. The reason I used it was because A, it kept all the bleachy gross stuff off my clothes and stuff, and B, if you want to speed up the process, you can use a hairdryer over the tin foil to speed up the development of your hair with the dye. I do not do that, but that's what salons do sometimes, so you could do that if you wanted. Anyway, you grab the section, so like I said, half of that. Okay, grab your brush, load the brush up with hair dye. Load the brush up with hair dye. So my section started here, so you want the sections to start for long hair, probably about your jawline, maybe somewhere here. You don't want it just on the ends, it would look a bit funny. If your hair is shorter, like your hair is, you know, shoulder height, you can start up here at your ear. Yeah, so my hair starts here. So I'll have a loaded brush and I would start about halfway down and just brush that in. So you would just use your thumb, which will have the glove on it, put it under the hair and just push your hair in between the bristles like that. And then I would just brush further and further up, and by the time I get to the top of my section, there will be less product in the brush, it'll be thinner, and the brush will be working effectively. So do not put the bleach on the brush and then just go, because that's how you end up with this, and that's how I did it first because the instructions didn't tell me how to do it better. Yeah, and then once your section's all done, just pop the tin foil under it and wrap it around. Doesn't matter if it's all squished up in there, it's all together anyway, so that's fine. And then just repeat this section, these two sections. When it's done, put them behind your head, just leave them back there. And using the tin foil will also help you with your sections. Remember what hair you've done, what hair you haven't, even though it's obvious. It still could get sticky and messy, so it's a cleaner way to do it. Okay, I'm really high. Okay, I'll just slump forward. Do the thing again with your fingers, meeting at the back. So now you have the middle third of your hair. Tie that up. Okay, so the tinfoiled hair will be behind my hair at this point, so I can just find the hair not in tinfoils, put it in front, do the same thing, section it, dye it, wrap it, flick it behind, done. Well, not completely done. You will take down the top, do the top, develop it depending on how light you want your hair to be, how dark your hair is. If your hair is already light, probably won't take as long. Anywhere between 25 to I think 45 minutes you can leave it in. From the time that you have finished all the dyeing, all the wrapping up, that's when you start the timing. Something really funny about if you're using this hair dye, look at the instructions. I don't have them here because I chucked it, but it was hilarious because I had like this model and it was like, section your hair to the front, and the model was like, okay, so I hope I helped you and good luck.